Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is part 2 of my monthly observations for February 2026. I'm still outside, the rain is holding, sort of, so we'll keep going. Part 2 of the observations is all about the birth number for the month at hand. The birth number is created or obtained by adding the date of birth together. What do I mean by that? In the case of a year or a month, what we need to do is look at February, the birth number of February every time it rolls around, which in the Gregorian calendar is 2. But then on a specific level, February also carries a specific birth number of 2 plus 2026. In other words, 2028, which reduces to 3. So on the website Psychic and Energy Work, on the monthly observations page, you'll see that I've written a little bit about the birth numbers for this month. This video doesn't say the same things. It continues on. It sort of presents some new information. And what I'd like to pick up on is the fact that part 1 video covered off the fact that last month we had a high 2 count relative to a low 1 count. And guess what? Same again is happening this month, possibly in one sense more extremely. What do I mean by that? Last month brought us 12 2s and 7 1s. This month brings us 10 2s and 5 1s. So the ratio is bigger, it's double. That doesn't necessarily have to mean humongous difference, but it can just flag, you know what, again, the world of other might feature as a challenge, as a teaching or a learning dynamic, as a reason to, shall we say, evolve, to clear, to learn all over again, and therefore step into your next level of greatness as you trundle your way through February. So, in part, and again, I sort of started to pick up on this in the first video, part 1, this is very much a time where the dynamics that are generated by others, knowingly or not, and often it's not, have the potential to really come into a person's reality and, cause havoc. But again, on one level, just add an extra layer of notable shift or loudness in a way that we have to then, or life asks us to then, work with that, accommodate it, mentor it, shapeshift it, or at least help it to shapeshift and become a positive learning and manifesting vibe. What do I mean by these things? This month, because we've got 2, because we've got 20283, because we've got a couple more master numbers, 448, we've also got 1372, we've also got 4 5s this month appearing. Where am I going with this? On one level, therefore, we're still this month, just as we were last month, we will be asked to sort of stand our ground in what we know. Now, that's really important, isn't it? Because there's 2 sides to that statement. There's the egoic side. Stand your ground in what you know. When we are out of balance spiritually, whether it is 1 millimeter or more, sometimes that can play through as stubbornness, arrogance, conceit, and of course conceit on a spiritual level is oh so subtle. In a sense, the only way we get rid of it is to let go of ourselves, and the only way we do that is use breath and let go of all activity in the mind. The dynamic that is 5, the dynamic that is 10 2s, it can ask us to make our way through drama, not because we ourselves have to pick up the baton called drama. And again, that is a lesson it's been hovering these last few months. Do you need to engage with something reactively? Do you need to engage with something owning what's coming at you from the outside? Do you need to go into emotion in responding, not because we try to kill emotion or devalue the power or the role of emotion, but more because we don't need to drive from it, and we certainly don't need to carry baggage because of it. 11-2 which was last month's number, and it's featuring again 448. 448, which is a reality number this month, is going to ask us to build well, build quality. In other words, use the right ingredients. And of course, when we're manifesting, everything starts on the invisible level. Everything starts as a thought, and thoughts are affirmations, thoughts are instructions, thoughts are definitions of the base, which is 4. The base we're working with, and like attracts like. So if we have a base that is egoic, reactive, buying into the drama, fearing, pessimistic, all of those things, they'll act like magnets. And this is something that we can hear often. They'll act like magnets that only attract things that reinforce the need for them, or at least the message that flows out of them. So this month, the number of being, the birth number is the number of being. In other words, this is what you're about to learn about and make your way through, so as to become, or at least have the invitation to become, more spiritually grounded in that number, in a way that releases limitation, releases ignorance, releases egoic self in you, perhaps others. Because this year is so potentially flighty, because your fire horse starts halfway through this month, there is very definitely that aspect of don't let drama carry you away. In part, some of what we've been seeing is how things like social media, even media in general, but more specifically, people's use of media, whether that be media owners, not because I'm trying to say it is, I'm just giving examples, whether it be people who use media at very high, as in obvious, lots of money's worth levels, or even very subtle. Because even that is a curiosity, isn't it? We all have to promote ourselves in some way. And yet the worst form of promotion is the push form. It's a balance, isn't it? But you see, on one level, receiving happens, manifesting happens if we just be ourselves. We don't need to effort on that platform. That doesn't mean we don't need to do anything. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't do anything. But at the same time, it's not coming. And I said this in part 1, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? It's repeating. But, it doesn't mean that we have to have that dynamic, that thought wave, that potential, the fear of that potential in our mindsets as we truck off to make things happen, to create, to manifest. 2 is a time of knowing yourself, and because you know yourself, you can position with life and therefore with flow as it comes to you, but also as it wants to come as a result of you, as in through you, but also in response to how you help to shape it. It's raining again. So be aware of that. Be aware that this month is a month that's going to help you shape shift. It's going to help you quite possibly help others shape shift. Stay in your adult boots. Stay in objectivity. Don't buy into the drama. It's not necessary. If you're buying into it, you're feeding the wrong beast. And on that note, time for the video end. Time to get into the dry. All the very best for this month. Go through to video 3. Oh, and holler if you need. psychicandenergywork.com.au. You will find my contact details on the contact page. Travel well. Take care.